Alicia here from So What Alicia, and today we've got Alexis from Persia Lou, one of my very, very dearest friends.
Hi.
Hi, I'm so excited that you could hop on and chat with me. I love to see your face. We get to hear each other's voices sometimes, but I don't ever get to see your face, so it's fun. And Alexis blogs at Persia Lou, and you can find her on all the places. Persia Lou, which you can see. I can't point to it because it's on mine, but down there. I'm like, it's down there somewhere. I just thought we could chat, and I would love, like, I find you and your work so inspiring, so I just would love to chat about how you started blogging and all the things. So I guess I threw that one on you. I didn't tell you I was gonna ask you that. But I would love to hear about how you started blogging, and then we can chatting.
Well, thanks for having me. I love you. And I know it has been like we don't get to see each other in person as much as I would like, especially with the whole quarantine and everything. But let's see, it's 2020. I started my blog in 2011, so 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And for the first couple of years, it was really just like a hobby thing. Yeah. Initially, I thought maybe I was going to do an Etsy shop. I was pregnant with my first kid when I decided I wanted to do something like this. Or maybe it was right after I had him. I'm not sure. But I had just finished my master's. I defended my master's thesis right a couple months after my oldest son was born.
Yeah.
And I was working part-time online, teaching online writing classes, but I had started crocheting again.
Okay.
I learned to crochet as a kid. Like when I was 9, I used to spend summers with my grandma in Utah, and we learned to can, jam, and crochet and do counted cross stitch and stuff like that.
I love all of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've always been into that kind of stuff. But so when I was getting ready to have my first baby, I started crocheting again because I wanted to make baby blankets and little booties and stuff. So I picked that up again, and I was, there's so many great resources on the internet, and that's kind of how I relearned how to crochet. And then I was kind of starting to make my own little designs and patterns. And I thought about doing an Etsy shop, and then I was like, well, I want to share this. I made my daughter, so then I guess this was like 2 years after my son was born, I made my daughter like her little blessing dress, and I did a little crocheted yoke for the dress. And I think that was one of my first posts. Anyway, so I created this blog so I could share my crochet stuff that I was doing, and I named the blog Persia Lou, which is a weird name, but it's my great-grandmother. Her name was Persia, and then my grandma's name is Luana, but her nickname is Lou. So it was that kind of homage to them, and then it was kind of that cutesy Etsy shop type name that was pretty popular 10 years ago. And that's kind of how it started. And then so I did a lot of crochet stuff at the beginning, and I still do some crochet, but I've just generally crafts, and I do a lot of vinyl crafting and cut files and stuff like that now. It's kind of where I've moved into.
I love the name, and you've told me that story before, how you named it, and I think it's so special, and it makes me smile every time you tell that story. And I just have to tell you, I don't know, like when we very first met at Snap Conference, which is like a creative bloggers conference, and you gave me your card, which was the thing you do, like you give people cards, and your card had like a tattoo that you had done that was super adorable. And then like I went up to my room, and I was like, stalking you. And then later I sat by you at dinner, and I was like totally fangirling, and you were like, who is this weirdo? And I was like, I am going to be her friend. And then like I made you be my friend. So
well, thank you. Because sometimes I'm a little bit of a like quieter person, or can be. So I kind of need people to like adopt me sometimes.
No, that's what I did. I was like, attach, and I'm not going to let go. And now we're friends. And that was like maybe like 3-4 years ago, I think, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. it's wonderful. And so that is when I was first exposed to your awesome drawing skills, because I probably still have it somewhere. I don't know where, but I never actually used the tattoo, but it was like hand drawn and it was like sewing or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like, I think it was scissors.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember that one. I know I did a bunch of different like crafty tattoos. I don't remember what it said. I need to track that down because that should be a cut file.
That should be a cut file. I would totally use that. And yeah, it would be super fun. So how do you get your inspiration for your cut files and your little letterings and all the things that you do? Where does that inspiration come from?
That's a good question. I started lettering, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I started really getting into it. I took a couple, I think I took a calligraphy class on Skillshare. I wish I could remember the name of the instructor that I took, because that would be good. I think I took a class from Hello Tasha online too, one of her classes. That I think her class focused on, or the part that I used the most from it was digitizing lettering, because I started doing everything with like brush pens was the style that I kind of got into. So I don't know, I started with lettering. I would follow people on Instagram that I liked their style, and I would just do a lot of practicing and kind of just have fun with it. Then I think my design and my cut files and things, I've moved into a little bit more drawing. I still do lettering, but I do more drawing things too now. And a lot of times my inspiration, I think I kind of am inspired by a style.
Okay.
Rather than maybe like a concept or a phrase. I think a lot of cut file designers kind of will come up with a phrase or like words kind of, and I do that too. But a lot of times I try to have a style in mind and I'll make mood boards on Pinterest, like, secret mood boards.
Yeah.
So like I've been doing a lot, like I do a lot of tattoo style designs, because I really love just like old school tattoos with like the flowers and the hearts and the daggers and the mom and all that kind of stuff. So I have mood board on Pinterest with images of tattoo style designs that I like, and they're not necessarily, maybe I'm going to do a tattoo design about crafting, and like the mood board's not necessarily craft tattoos, but just to kind of get visual ideas for the style. And then I've also done like a lot of kind of like Scandinavian folk art designs, and I'll do similar things with that, like collect kind of style ideas, like color palettes, or maybe like a floral kind of shape that I want to play with, things like that. I've also bought a bunch of books with like pattern ideas or for folk elements, designs, and I kind of like to use those kind of visual ideas and then try to pair them with whatever the holiday or theme or whatever is. And my goal, I always want to try to like make sure I'm not copying anything, right? So trying to kind of take inspiration from a few different places and kind of mash them together and try to create something that's a little bit different and unique.
Yeah, I love your style. I was like, oh, I have to have that. Oh, I have to have that. Every time you do a cut file or anything, I'm like, oh, I got to make that. I got to do it. So it's super fun. When you, like, did you have drawing skills, or how did you teach yourself to draw? Was that also part of the course that you took?
So I have a kind of like, this is going to be like a way longer answer than you want. Probably, but
no, I want to hear. I love hearing it.
I always, like as a kid, I always kind of liked the idea of like being an artist, right? But I never took art classes. I was very crafty, but never like had art education as a kid. It was always like just kind of like my mom taught me how to sew and my grandma taught me how to crochet, and I, just did my own crafty things. I went to Michael's for craft classes, in the summer, stuff
Yeah.
but then, so I went to college. I like my kind of I wanted to be an art teacher. That was like my dream job, but I never taken any art classes. I didn't have anything like a portfolio. And so I went, when I realized that I had to apply to the major to be an art major, and I had to have a portfolio, that was like, that was way too scary for me. And so I just said, well, I'll be an English teacher because I've always loved to read too. So that's what I did. I did the idea of creating a portfolio, and I didn't have any kind of art education, which seemed too scary. So I became an English major, and then my sophomore year, second semester of my sophomore year, I did a study abroad program, and I went to London, and one of the professors was a visual arts professor. So I took a drawing class with him.
Oh, cool.
And that was the only way I could get into a visual arts class, because I wasn't a major, and I was an underclassman. It's hard to get those classes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you could do this. You have talent, and that you think you could do this. And if you want to, I'll help you. But at that point, I was going into my junior year, and I was like, well, I've already have all these credits, and I don't want to start over. So I didn't do it. So then I ended up getting a master's degree in English and was going to be a professor. And then I started my blog, and now I'm here being a crafter, designer, and I really wish that I would have not been such a scaredy cat in college. But so my education is all just, I have that one class, and then I actually did take some like graphic design kind of classes in college also.
Yeah.
Or like publishing design and HTML. And then since I started the blog, and since I've been wanting to get more into these things, I've taken like online painting classes and things like that. But it's definitely all just trying, a lot of trial and error, a lot of messing around and throwing paint and ink around and just kind of making messes.
I always thought I would wanted to be a painter too, but I've never like actually tried to paint. It just seems like something cool to do. But yeah. I do love to watch when you do your lives and stuff and your painting. I like watching it. It's fun. And I
love painting. It's like, that's like my thing, that if I'm feeling really stressed out, I'm like, oh. But I think part of the reason I love it is because it's not usually for the blog. You know what I mean? It's not work stuff. It's just like
fun. Yeah. Well, I am curious what you have on your craft table. What are you working on right now? If you could tell me.
That's a good question. The world has been kind of weird lately, and I kind of have been not working because of that. But I have been, my husband and I, last week, I bought, there's a, I need to make sure I say her name right, but the class is called Making Faces, and I think it's Lynn Whipple.
Yeah.
What if I said the name wrong? Anyway, so we did that like for a date night.
Yeah.
And it was really fun.
Is it like an in-person, or did you say it was online? Did I miss
No, yeah, it's an online class. So we were doing pastels, and I've taken some of Amanda Evanston's painting courses. She's she's recommended this one. So those are, I don't know. So that's kind of what I've been doing lately creatively, is painting and drawing and just kind of having fun making messes. I've been doing a lot of working on some origami projects for the blog too, kind of doing kids crafts since my kids are home.
Youngest loves origami, so that will be fun because he just loves it. He's obsessed with it. I want to show you what's on my craft table, and it's not as done as I wanted it to be. I wanted to be like, look, and have it like all finished, but it's not. But I'm gonna show you because I'm excited. And it's in backwards order. That's annoying. But I am working on this.
Aww.
It's gonna be a quilt, and these are the files that you designed, your 12 Days of Christmas,
Yes.
that I have pressed onto quilt blocks that I'm going to sew together. And I'm pretty excited. Sorry, they're not, this
I
one's
love this.
So this is one of those, this has that like Scandinavian type style, right, that you like. Isn't this one fun? I was like,
love that.
So fun.
So you just did or iron on vinyl on the?
I did iron on, yeah, onto here. And I'm super excited. So this is going to be in July. I'm going to have this on the blog. And so they'll be able to get the file from you and then make the quilt. Super exciting, right? So
oh my gosh, it's so cute. I love it.
I can't wait.
Love it.
But I had to show you, but I wanted to do like this big reveal, but then I'm like, I don't have it done. Like, because I also have not been working as much as I should have, but look at this one.
Oh, I love that one.
Aren't they fun? They're all fun. And I'm pretty excited. And I just used a bunch of scrap Christmas fabric that I had, and also mostly just vinyl that I had too. So it's kind of fun.
That's gonna be so cute.
But that's what I'm working on. One of the things, I don't know if you're like me and you have like 12 projects at all times. I always have so many things, and I'm like, I really should just try and do them, but like then shiny objects, I want to start other things.
Mm-hmm. I've been working on another thing. I've been working on is it's upstairs, so I can't show it to you. I should have had it down ready, but my mom is a super big hockey fan. Vegas Golden Knights. Yes, I know. Well, listen, it's fine. You can.
We just need some hockey. I really don't care anymore. I just want any hockey.
I know it's gonna start soon, and then what if the Blues and the Knights end up going against each other? It's okay. That'll be so exciting.
I saw a tweet that was like, if the Blues win, then obviously this is a good format. And if they didn't win, if they don't win, then this season doesn't matter anyway. So like, this didn't even count. This one doesn't even count. So
and it's a travesty. It's unfair. Yeah. But I'm making her, I started making my mom for Christmas. Well, it's June, and I'm still finishing it.
I'm working on, this is last Christmas. I was like, I'm working on this Christmas because this might be done by then.
Last Christmas, I'm making her a Golden Knights Afghan, and it's, I don't know if you know how, you're not super crochet.
I know how to crochet. I just haven't in a really long time, but I do know how.
Have you ever heard of corner to corner crochet?
Mm-mm. Is it like a diagonal?
Yeah, you like start in the bottom corner and you do, it's kind of like pixelated, right? And you move, you work diagonally across.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm about 2/3 of the way done with that. And it's going to be big.
She's going to love it. Does she know you're working on it?
Yeah, because I gave her like the bottom corner I had finished for Christmas, My mom's gotten so many partially finished craft projects. Not just for me, for my sisters too. It's like,
that's hilarious.
Merry Christmas, Mom. Here's a quilt top that maybe I'm going to quilt one day, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. I don't do a ton of crochet. And I haven't done many yarn crafts in a long time, but I'm more of a knitter. I like to knit. Mm-hmm. And my sister-in-law just sent me a picture of the baby blanket that my 9-year-old niece that I knit for her. And it still looks amazing. I was like, oh, that's so awesome that she still has it. So I forgot about it. She's like, look, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. So I love those things that, your mom will have that forever once it's done,
I know. I just found the baby blanket I made for my daughter recently too.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
I know. It's super sweet. Well, I really appreciate you chatting with us, all my people. I don't know why I got plural all of a sudden. I think of myself royally in the we.
I understand the royal we.
I had to wear this for you, my yarn.
I love that. Is that one of your noonday necklaces?
Yes, it's my new day, and this is beautiful. Noonday. I'm like obsessed now. But anyways, I appreciate you taking the time to chat, and I just think you are amazingly talented, and I know you're not the best at taking compliments, so I just wanted to tell you that. That I love you. I
don't know what you're talking about.
I love you, and I think you're just very talented, and I appreciate you chatting. So
thank you so much for inviting me. It was really fun to talk crafty stuff with you.
I know, and don't forget, you can follow Alexis on Persia Lou. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't know. I was just trying to decide if I was going to say at Persia Lou or just Persia Lou. I didn't forget. Like I'm just like
No,
on at Persia Lou or just Persia Lou.
and
Anyway,
it's you
on
have to really enunciate it too.
yeah,
It's not an easy one.
Persia Lou. But I love it. And now that everyone knows the story, I think everyone else is going to love it too because it's such a sweet story. And I mean, Persia, that's such an awesome name, just regardless. Like your great grandma had like a really awesome name. So,
Yeah.
um,
Thank you.
but
It's a kind of funny little, rural Utah white lady name that doesn't really make sense, but that's my family. That's where I come from.
it's your history, right? So, and
Yeah.
it's unique and it gave you something special to carry with you. So, yeah, but okay. Well, thanks so much for chatting.
Thanks,
And
friend.
we'll
Good to see your face.